Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, by popular demand, and for the second time around, I have yet another podcaster. I have Mark Hirschi with me over here with Movified. How you doing today?
Great, Yuri. Happy to be on the show.
Good,
Thanks for
good,
having me.
good. Yeah, I love having you here again. So there's a lot of things that have been happening with Mark since we talked last.
Yeah,
None least, he got a neat position with part of the Canadian Association of Movers. So, Mark, can you tell us about that?
yeah, for sure. I've been part of the Canadian Association of Movers since 2008, at least somewhere around there. And I've always been a huge supporter in making sure moving companies try and follow some type of regulation. We were talking earlier about Canada kind of being the wild, wild west of the moving industries, and it happens, right? Sometimes, when you think of Canada as a whole, Canada's population is probably as big as the state of California. So when you think of all of the rogue movers that are in the United States,
Right,
we don't talk about them even as much because they're just so spread out. Whereas in
right.
Canada, they're right in your backyard. So being a part of CAM, as in short, it really kind of holds you true to like certain standards. So I was really lucky earlier this year that I received an email from the president of CAM and saying, "Hey, we'd love to see you as a member on our board, someone that is influential, someone that holds great standards for the company that you own currently at Salmon's, and would you be interested?" And I jumped at the opportunity. So, as of this year, now with 2025 in the insight, I'm sitting on the board now, and I also was really pleasantly surprised to win the industry award. So, the influencer award.
Which is very cool. Like I certainly like as a fellow podcaster, I love seeing one of my peers get rewarded for the work and the time that we're putting in because certainly, we want to make sure we put good content out there for all of you guys to enjoy. So I think it's awesome to see a fellow podcast get recognized. I think it's great.
And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
Yeah, thank you. I was very honored to receive the award. I think in the industry, and you have talked about this on my podcast, to have the networks that we have now, going into 2025, is huge. If you were someone that was starting a moving company in the last year, even the last 4 years, you have this opportunity and this network that's around you that does not want you to be shy.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to help each other out. There are individuals out there in the industry that have started it, that have killed it, that have grown their moving companies, that are utilizing the tools that are out there today with social media, with business network groups, and taking a lot of the coaching programs that are out there and built their moving companies. And they are just killing it day in and day out. And I'm excited to watch, for those that are in the United States, those that are in my backyard as well too. And I think it's fantastic. It wasn't like this 10 years ago, 15
No,
years ago.
absolutely not. And I myself, I was just in the UK a month and a half ago for a removal company. They call it removals in Canada. So I was
Yeah.
there for an event myself, and it was great. It was lots of great people. It's also like similar thing where we have a very close knit. Everybody knows each other, and I think overall, whether it's in Canada or UK or US, uh, we all strive to make this business better because so many of us are invested in it full time and whether it's me with my call center and this podcast, or Mark with his podcast and his moving company. We're invested in it full time. So we want this to be better. We want this to be better in terms of companies providing great service. We want it to be better on a bit B2B level. We want it to be better on the B2C level. We want to definitely route out some of the people that give us a bad name. We want to do it the right way. And I think it's getting to be more and more and more. And that's the trend across obviously across the ocean at this point. So that because the same thing in UK, same thing in the Canada, same thing in US, and it's awesome to see that there are definitely parallels that you can draw from all three places.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed in 2024, social media posts have exploded like wildfire when it comes to moving companies. So, everybody out there has either hired someone on their marketing team, has hired a VA, has hired someone that is working on their social media, and it, it's hard to even keep up every day. When I'm watching and scrolling through sometimes on Instagram, the different moving companies that are out there, the approach that they're taking for new content is remarkable.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
Someone that I really always admire is Chris Sweet from Swamp Rabbit.
Mm.
And in the last couple months, the content that comes out there, I'm always like, oh, that's so good. I want to use that. Oh, that's so good. I want to use
I've been
that.
trying to get
So
him on my podcast. So Chris, if you're listening to this, please reach out to me. I know we briefly connected on Facebook, but please reach out. I'd love to have you on.
yeah, no, he's great. And then Austin Yarbrough, of course, from
Him
Central
too.
Coast. He is definitely going to be someone to watch in 2025. So he is always someone that I admire. I always said, man, I wish I had someone like you in my corner, 8, 10 years ago when I was, building up my previous moving company, and we would be crushing it across North America right now. So he is definitely someone to watch. His new platform, which is Moving Army, and it's also a fantastic program that he's launched recently for 2025. Taking fitness and moving and implementation into school is remarkable, and he's definitely someone that I always watch on social media of what they're doing. So, and it's interesting too when you watch different moving companies and their approach. And we talk about this in our group of business owners. They, you know, one thing will not work for the same person, right? So, when you have someone that you're watching, you're like, man, I wish I could do that. It might not work for your moving company. You really want to make sure that you are watching the type of culture that you have. Some guys will have their crews being filmed, and they're the guys that are out there talking, and they're the ones that are doing the intros. They're the ones that are explaining the moving tips. Whereas, you might find that your guys don't want to be on camera, right? You might find that yourself, you don't want to be on camera. So, work on filming video content of your trucks, the guys kind of loading, get a lot of pictures and videos of the way you're packing the items in people's houses. Maybe try and offer more testimonial videos. Get your customers, get your movers to film a testimonial that you can put on social media. These are different types of tools that will still get you that video content, but you don't have to put your guys in front of the camera or yourself, right? A lot of times you can like Google faceless videos, right? You see it all the time where it's just you talking and it's snapshots of maybe clips and images. that also works too, right? Get yourself a decent mic. You can find them all over Amazon or Facebook Marketplace if you want to try and stay on a budget. And get yourself a mic and just get ChatGPT to write you a script, and then talk that script out. Use that audio, throw in some photos, and now you have something that could be put together on CapCut. So yeah, definitely social media has been huge. I've seen in the moving industry in 2024.
And I think one of the main reasons for that is obviously we are in a position where we're seeing that the quality of leads has dwindled so much over the past year. I'm actually, going to have a lead provider on probably in the next couple of weeks here. But overall, the quality has dwindled so much that we're forced more and more and more to go in the organic realm. And that's why social media for movers is exploding, because we find ourselves, and of course, I'm speaking as a salesperson that makes these calls, but I find myself in the position where I have to fight to get these leads that are worth something that we can convert, because like I said, the quality at those places have gone down so much that it's like we're in a position where we have to fight to get the stuff, and it's just not on the same level that it used to be. It's, we used to have Home Advisor was the best lead provider that was out there until, of course, it paired up with Angie's List, and then it went down to Tubes for us, for the US market, of course, not so much for other places. But there's nothing that's comparable. The only thing that could be that's better than that would be social media stuff that you're getting organic reach where people, I mean, you can't beat somebody calling you directly to ask for the service, right? You
No, for
can't
sure,
beat
of
that. You
course.
cannot. And the best way to do that is to drive that traffic to your website. The best way that is to put out social content, whether you're a mover or somebody else. But the point is that if you're trying to reach that audience and you're trying to build that audience for, because with social media, we're not just talking about audience for today. We're talking about audience going forward. We're talking about audience that we could be captivating 2 years, 10 years down the road or more. We're talking people that are maybe 15 right now that are nowhere near thinking about moving, but in 5 years they will be. So if we
Oh yeah, for
captivate
sure.
them today, then when it comes time for them to actually use your service, you know, they're not even going to think about contacting anybody else if they've been following your contact for the past 3 to 5 years.
No, and I think, having relevant content is important too. And,
Yeah.
when you think of those 15-year-olds, most of them are, in the sports, they're at gyms, they're in high schools, where if you have if you are a business owner and let's say you don't have kids and you're like, well, I don't know where to go, you should be starting off by getting these flyers out by the university. You start going out to try and hire university kids, come May, most of these schools are finishing up and they're looking for a summertime job. Well, if I'm hiring a university kid that is in his 20s and he starts working for me and starts recommending his friends, and his friends find out that those friends are moving, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call the moving company that your buddy works for. The same thing goes with advertising at your local high school's football team if they have one, and trying to be a sponsor on there. You probably can find these type of companies or these types of schools looking for like a $500 sponsorship, inexpensive sponsorships to get your logo on a team. And you never know, that one lead that could come through could turn into a $2,000 to $5,000 move while someone is sitting there at a stadium and sees your logo come up because you're the only moving company. Check your local home shows, right? So sometimes I don't know how it is so much in the different states that you're in, but if there is typically one big home show, one big consumer show, and you can try and get a booth at like a local market, you want to be like the only moving company there. So find those small home shows in your area, whether it is a summer market. You ever see those like summer markets that are out there, the food markets or something like that? Be the only mover, test it out. If one table costs you like $100 and you set up a couple
Yeah,
free
it's 100
things.
bucks well spent because you're probably going to get at least a couple of moves out of it. and that's going to cover the $100 that you spent realistically. So yeah.
100%. And you as a business owner, get out and do it yourself, right? Or if you have someone in your office that is, on salary, you want to give them a little bit extra perk. They're, someone that has great charisma, that are super, bubbly. Get them out there, at that booth, right? And go hang out with them for the day. And guess who you're shaking hands with? Probably a lot of the wives that are out there with their
Hmm.
kids, on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday, and they're the decision makers that are going to be like, oh yeah, we were thinking about moving, oh we were thinking about needing storage because winter's around the corner. So find these places that are out now, utilize January as the time to start building. Where do you want to advertise, and what are the easiest ways? Yuri was talking about grassroots marketing. So,
Yeah.
get out there and drop off, if you have two cubes that are labeled with your business on there, or a couple good rack cards, find those open houses, find those houses for sale, and drop something off at their house, right? Start door knocking, right? It
Right.
works.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's old school, but it still works. That I think that still goes across that, and it's probably more applies to our industry now than it used to before,
For
right?
sure.
The other thing too is that, I mean, I can say this specifically. So where we're based, and a lot of these little towns across the U.S., frankly, because this happens a lot in U.S. and it's probably, I'm assuming something happened like that similar happens in Canada, but we have our little town whatever fair, right? That happens once a year. And I can tell you for a fact where we are based, there's a moving company that's literally across the tracks that I can see out of the window of my office that I've been trying to get in with them for a longest time to do some sales for them, but they have this one person that I think she's either the daughter or the owner or something like that, but she's been insistent on of doing all the sales herself, so it's been impossible to get through her. For them, when we have an in-town fair once a year, they have that company's boxes as like big like dish pack size boxes out there as garbage cans throughout this event. They're all over the place. So they
Smart.
have the logo of the company and the phone number and everything else. So like focus on something like that. Is there a moving company that's a local support, you know?
Oh, for sure. And these fairs are great to set something up on there, and I think, and I've talked about this on my podcast. It's you as the owner should be constantly promoting your company, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on LinkedIn. You should always be resharing, posting it, any kind of content that's coming from your moving company, as well as your staff as well, right? Try and get your staff to. I mean, that's like the cheapest marketing you can think of. And you see it. If you are doing an Instagram post, tag someone, invite them as a collaborator, and watch how many views you start getting on that one post because you've invited multiple collaborators in there, right? Make a collab with your local realtors that you work with, or your builders that you work with, your contractors. When you start tagging them and they accept that invite, your views and the spread of your content goes like wildfire. And the next thing you know, you're getting a lead that you would have never thought of at all, because those impressions matter. Somewhere they're going to see your logo, and it works. Yeah, those fairs are definitely key. We don't do a lot of those in Canada. They don't happen out here as much as they do in the United States. So we always have to drive across the border when they do some of the state fairs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. Do you guys do moves cross border?
Yeah, yeah. We move all across North America and internationally as well
No,
too.
that's awesome because not a lot of moving companies move cross border. So that's also something if you're close enough to the Canada US border, or well, I don't know if you want to go Mexico, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But at least, cross Canada border, if you're close enough to make that happen, if you're somewhere in Buffalo area, for example, that might be a good way to go, or, somewhere else in New York State or other places, Michigan maybe. That would make a lot of sense for you to go up north to hit that market going back and forth. Because right
Yeah, it's
now
it's
there's a lot of
easy it's
movement
easy
back
to
and forth.
learn. Oh, for sure. It's easy to learn. You just have to make sure that you are, cross your T's, dotting your I's, make sure that paperwork is right, for not just for your own company, but for the consumer. The last thing you want to do is be held up at the border because you did not get the right documents filled out and get the right signatures. So,
Sure.
if you have someone, I always recommend trying to, talk to another moving company that has done it and ask them, for a day that you could come to the office and just learn how to do cross-border moves. There's a lot of it online now as well too. Find the moving companies that do it and talk to them. You could reach out to a local van line as well too, because they're bound to be doing cross-border and, pick their brain. Most people are pretty open and receptive to teaching, and the ones that aren't, hey, move on, go to the next person. But once you get that cross-border moves, I would start, reaching out to not so much customers. You want to start finding those vendors, those businesses that need that final mile of delivery, right? They want that cross border. We do lots of stuff where someone, will bring the shipments up to Seattle or even Bellingham, which is the closest little city to the Vancouver border. We will cross border pick those shipments up to deliver it out to Vancouver, right? So it happens. There's a lot of those kind of shipments out there, and it pays good money.
Yeah, no, sure. Especially if there's not that many companies that are doing it. You create yourself like less competition ultimately. Also
There's
versus
tons of logistics companies out there, right?
yeah,
You're always like there's so many of those delivery companies, but again, they're probably dropping off at the curb. So if you can sell yourself on a white glove service, when you're already a moving company that provides that, it's kind of like a shoe in. It's a win-win.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But of course, we can talk about all this stuff. Our goal is to once again help you guys grow the industry and learn new things from this podcast and from Mark's podcast. So we're gonna drop a bunch of links for Movified here, and hopefully Mark was gonna help me on his soon. I hope.
Sure.
He hasn't had me yet. We'd like to connect on that type of stuff as well. But once again, guys, thank you very much for your time. Please like, please subscribe. Us all over the social media space. Same goes for Mark. And once again, thank you very much for joining us today, Mark. I appreciate it. And like I
Yeah,
always
thanks, Yuri.
say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk again soon.